Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Randy, the Ragamuffin-Piper. Ever have one of those days where you come home and you need to watch something that's a pick-me-up instead of a downer? You're like, nope, not gonna watch that. Nope, not gonna watch that. Well, you're in luck. That's what we're gonna do today. Let's go. Well, before we get started, this is a Fero, F-E-R-O. Sounds like Fox, F-O-X. I'm doing it already, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a Fero pipe. It's Italian, straight. It's one of the few straight pipes that I own, except for my estate pipes. I have several estate pipes that are straight. I like them bent better. And in there, I've got some Country Squire Hunting Creek. So, Hunting Creek. It's a pretty good crossover blend, although it needs some drying time, and I didn't give this any drying time, so I'm probably going to have to relight it about 4 or 5 times. Especially because I'm talking. But, you know, in our family, there's a lot of sarcastic humor, and sometimes on the channel, you'll probably get that idea. You might. But movie and television quotes, oh my goodness, if you haven't watched enough shows to get those references, you'll miss out on about half the fun in our family gatherings. You want a rope? I got a rope in the car. There's one for you. You can go look that up. But sometimes I just want to have a little fun, and today I thought it would be fun to go over some of the really iconic characters and phrases from television and movies. I wanted to give you a smile today and see how many you recognize. One of the things I love about the YTPC is the group of people that I interact with the most. They get some of those little isms that I add to my comments, of which I can't make short ones. I must apologize. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a short comment. I'll keep it short. I look at everybody else's, this like one line. Mine's like a paragraph. I apologize. I apologize. But some iconic characters that immediately bring a sign of recognition to you. And I'm going to share some. And some of them might make you break into song. And hopefully you'll recognize it. And if you don't, you need to watch the comments so you can find out what you're missing. So here's one for you. I gotta have some glasses. I got a bad feeling about this. Some of you said, yeah, I know where that's at, right? Or how about this one? That's bold talk for a one-eyed fat man. Man, that's one of my favorite lines. We use that all the time, sarcastically. But if you're not aware of where it comes from, you might take offense. Especially if you're a woman. And just for the record, I have made most of my family, my wife, my kids, they've had to watch all these movies just so they can see where a lot of this lingo comes from. Otherwise, they'd be left out in the cold without a laugh. How about this one for you? Get off my lawn. You kids, get off my lawn. Iconic. Here's some characters for you. John McClane. Obviously the star of the biggest Christmas movie ever. Rooster Cogburn. Speaking of the one-eyed fat man, I'm just a country doctor, Jim. Oh my goodness, that when I was growing up, that show was the every night we watched that show when it was in reruns. I'm not quite old enough to have watched it when it was actually airing, so my brothers were. They loved it. How about this one? Good man always knows his limitations. A good man always knows his limitations. That's a great line. We don't need no stinking badges. How about that? You know where that one comes from? Ever use that one? We don't need no stinking badges. I hope you're getting a kick out of this because that is the only purpose of this video. How about these characters, Hoss and Little Joe? Or when, like my dad used to call a nice place with a lot of trees, he'd say, boy, that brings me back, reminds me of the Ponderosa. Or who knows who Miss Kitty is? And I got a hint for you. That one isn't anything from the last 20 years, so don't get anything weird on me here. Think you used a little bit too much dynamite there, Butch? My brother used to do that all the time. Every time we would take something apart and it would come apart a little bit too far. Or give something a little hit with a hammer and it'd break all the pieces. Or something in the shop would fall apart. Think you used a little bit too much dynamite there, Butch? A 3-hour tour. Are you singing that in your head now? Never go for a boat ride and take a 3-hour tour. When we used to have a pretty good sized boat. We had a cabin cruiser years ago and it had a speaker on the front. And I downloaded the song to that television show, and as we would leave the little harbor where our shed was, where we stored the boat, I would always put that song playing as I left the harbor, and all the people would cheer from the shore. Here's one that's a little more obscure, but comes from a favorite show from my childhood. My brother says this all the time. Danger, Will Robinson. Here's a nighttime show, and it only takes 2 words for you to know what show I'm talking about. Here's Johnny. Right? Now, you might have a different opinion than I do, but that's back when nighttime television was funny. Entertaining, at least. We're going to need a bigger boat. If you haven't watched the video about my friend Paul, and I'll put a link at the end of this for that one. If you haven't watched that video, you'll know Paul and I used to go fishing a lot in a smaller boat, not a cabin cruiser, a small boat. Oh my goodness, that saying was all the time in that boat. And we never caught a fish big enough to need a bigger boat neither, so. But what I would really enjoy is if you could answer some of those in the comments, tell me what some of them are from, or keep it going and list some new ones. Some of the famous lines that, because I can't go over them all, we'd be here all day. One of the funny things about making videos, you know, I set up out on the patio on the porch here, had everything ready to go, and it started to sprinkle. So I had to move up by the door here to get coverage. As soon as I moved and pushed play or pushed record, it stopped and now the sun is out. If you guys only knew. So that's it. Hope I made you smile or chuckle a little bit, or remember something from your childhood, or maybe a few years back that you say it all the time and maybe nobody knows where it's from. The YTPC is the community that we have is one where I feel like sometimes I can use those isms and somebody is going to get it. If you're ever watching a video and you catch me doing that, you put it in the comments. Tell me what show it's from, because it always makes me smile when somebody gets it. Hunting Creek. That's some good stuff. It's a nice crossover blend. So this is Randy, and I hope you have a great day. God bless you. I hope you had a little fun, and I hope we can have some fun in the comments. I look forward to it. And until we see each other again, yippee-ki-yay, kids. If you don't know where that one came from, it wasn't from John McClane originally. Look it up. Ragamuffin Piper. Glad to have you here. We'll see you soon.